There it is.
Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least,
Me,
Joseph Goodwin.
Colin had his finger on the button. Welcome everyone to the Undrafted Uncensored.
I had no such thing. I was fixing my mic. I knew already I was good to go.
everything's fine. Yeah.
Trust me, I re-listened to you talking shit about you only playing it once. All right, Mr. Nick. I will.
Good.
I will pick apart your argument.
And I am still batting 1,000 on that one, bad boy. Welcome everyone to the Undrafted Uncensored. Happy Easter Sunday, by the way.
Happy Easter Sunday. I'm glad you didn't call it the victory formation. Never forget.
We've done.
It only took like a month and a half or two.
We're at almost 100 of these things, okay?
To quote Childish Gambino, an elephant never forgets, so my dick remembers everything.
Oh, man. I mean, hey, it could be worse. You could be betting the under on yourself and then leaving a game early each time you decide to do that. So, I mean, life could be worse.
Was that one of the Shohei bets?
No, Michael.
No, that would be MPJ's brother.
Yeah, MPJ's brother, yes.
Oh, that's not good. I heard about some kind of thing with that. What happened? So he's betting the under on himself and then leaving early?
Mm-hmm.
What
yeah,
league
both
does
times
he
he
play
started
in?
up at the both times.
Like G League or Europe or something?
Huh? No, he's in Toronto.
He's with the
plays for
Raptors?
the Raptors, yes.
Yeah. So both times the NBA realized that a lot of people were betting the under on him on a game, and each game he was in, he left early, keeping himself on the under. So
That's bad.
That doesn't
not a good
smell
look.
good.
No. And I'm still a strong proponent that, players should be able to make one bet, and it is on your team to win, because you're doing that anyway. It's not going to affect anything. But if you bet on yourself to lose, or you take the under, or even taking the over on yourself, makes you more motivated to get stats as opposed to maybe winning. Like, I feel like betting on yourself to win is not a bad bet. That doesn't affect the integrity of the game, I don't think, because you were going to do that anyway. It's basically just working incentives into your own contract. But that's scummy, man. What is his first name? I'm not sure I knew Porter Jr.'s brother's name, because I assume it's not going to be a junior.
I don't remember.
I know there's a Kevin Porter Jr. I don't have my. You know what? Don't have my phone, but I have the internet. I can Google it.
Nuggets are up 65-56 at the half, by the way.
Oh, sick! I forgot that game was happening right now. I'm watching UFL.
Jonte.
There it is. So right now, Michael's the only one that's not getting in trouble.
Yeah, that's not a guy I knew. There's also a Coban Porter.
No, that's his brother who played for DU, who went to jail.
Oh, damn. I was like, he's got a basketball jersey in this picture, at least. Well, that's lame. It makes me feel not like it shouldn't make me feel any different about Michael Porter Jr., but whenever you've got people that you've been around in your life and in your family that kind of have those, lack of scruples, that always kind of looks bad on you to an extent. But that being said, we all have that douchebag family member that just, for whatever reason, you necessarily don't want to be associated with them, maybe.
Yeah.
So, it's just sad, because now anytime something like that comes up with Porter, we're all going to look back at this and say, well, his brother did it, or, Porter's going to leave a game because maybe he tweaked his back and it doesn't look that weird, and now he's going to get accusations that aren't totally unwarranted, because he's probably going to get them anyway, but now they're going to be mentioning his brother in all of this, and that's sad.
Well, yeah, and of course my mindset went to part of that. I was like, didn't MPJ just go 0 for 5 the other night?
Yeah.
Like legitimately, it's a crappy thing, but it puts that thought. It becomes part of the thought process.
Yeah.
And it sucks, and it sucks that it has to be tied to MPJ. But at the end of the day, for MPJ, he's had to deal with a lot in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
His brother, and the accident that ended up killing someone, and now he's having to defend his brother. All this stuff with
His
Bones
other brother.
Highland, like there has been a lot that he's gone through, and he's stayed strong and been able to focus. But you gotta hope that he doesn't break soon, because that's a lot of pressure riding on you, especially if his brother now gets blackballed from the NBA and the investigation finds out, everything finds out, and he gets suspended or banned.
I mean, he's a pretty
everything's
low
on
player
him,
too.
and then, well, yeah, but that doesn't
So he
matter,
won't, like,
because
it does, because he doesn't play as
but that-
much. He doesn't have as much pedigree, so they'll be more incentivized to just get him out than they will be to try to get him on the court. I feel like, because he's.
I'm talking about for MPJ, not for his brother.
Oh, for the brother. Okay.
I'm talking about for MPJ, because now everything MPJ that he's gone through, like, you look at all this stuff, and you said it, who you surround yourself with. I'm not saying his brother, his brother is a low level player. He might not mean anything, but it's who you associate with. And so now, if your brother is caught gambling and you're having a bad night, like you said, like, oh, did he tell his brother something? Is there something moving on the line? There's always going to be questions, more questions asked now that those are issues, especially if his brother is suspended or banned from the league. I mean, anyone you associate with who gets that scarlet letter, it's trouble.
Yeah, no.
And it's troublesome. So MPJ just has to watch out and mind his P's and Q's, really, and just play basketball.
Yeah, no, like you said, he's probably going to get blackballed. Like I was saying, he's a lower level guy, so getting blackballed from the NBA is more likely because he doesn't have that pedigree. He doesn't have that, extra talent to get him on the court, which isn't always the case. Look at Miles Bridges. He's a good player for sure. He's not a great player. He's not like so talented that he needs to be on the court. Like that's a guy that everywhere he goes, that team will be scrutinized for signing a domestic abuser. So he doesn't always necessarily have to be, the super great players. But this is a guy that barely plays at all. So, yeah, I feel like he'll just be gone. And, yeah, that's going to definitely affect Porter very significantly, I would assume so, because it would affect me. It would affect you guys, I assume. I don't actually have any siblings, but just something like that in general, the novelty of getting to play in the NBA with your brother. Not on the same team or anything, but the Nuggets play the Raptors, so they get to maybe line up against each other for a little bit, or at least see each other, and that's really cool. That's sad to see. But also, like, what did you expect? You're that low tier of a player, and everyone's just going out taking the under on you. I'm sure that the under has to be like 2 points. 1 point, maybe he's a bench scorer that I don't know about, but like the under has to be stupidly small. So to get all of these people to make these big bets, like, did you really expect no one to notice?
Yeah, I think they were relatively low. There was I think it was 6 points and 4 boards and an assist or something like that. So I mean, yeah, they were nothing. They weren't any numbers that were going to help the Raptors do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, well, let's just start on the down note. Basketball season in college, in Colorado, is done. Wah, wah, wah. I mean, the CU women took it as far as they could. They ran into Iowa State and
Iowa.
I'm sorry, yeah, Iowa and
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark. It's hard to. You wish they were on the other side of the bracket somewhere just to see if they can get beyond the Sweet 16. But I mean, they're still a good team. There's still potential out there, and they only have what, a couple seniors, if I remember right.
I think it was two seniors.
So yeah,
I'll look that up real quick though. What really? Okay, yes, it sucks where the Buffs in the bracket they were put in, but what's even worse is that the bracket for the women has Iowa and LSU in the same bracket. Like, they're playing.
Yeah.
Their next games are against each other. And for any of us who watched the back and forth between those two teams last year, it was phenomenal. It was must-watch TV. And now we get them in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, it sucks because the women's CU, it would have been great if it could have been different and played out differently instead of having to run in and be with a team like Iowa and LSU in the same bracket. Because CU beat LSU to start the season, but they're a different team. LSU has definitely gotten better as the season has gone along. I just really wish that. I wish they could have had a better showing against Iowa because they got the doors blown off of them.
Yeah.
It was almost worse than Illinois in the second half against UConn.
Too. They just didn't have the perimeter defense to stop Caitlin Clark. And just fucking, it's how it goes. It's sad, but when you got a superstar like that, it's hard to overcome that. Even if you feel like your team might be more complete overall, that one player just changes everything. We saw it from a basketball standpoint with the Lakers and Kobe Bryant always coming up against our, beloved Nuggets. We'd always have, a solid team, and then no matter what, it's like, nope, can't beat Kobe. That's just it, Like, oh, you got Melo and Iverson? Well, you can't beat Kobe. Oh, you got Melo and Chauncey now? Well, you still can't beat Kobe. And he had Pau Gasol. He had other good players too. But, like, that's kind of how it feels. And it's sad, but it's also, you're witnessing greatness to an extent. But, yeah, you wish that you could have played better against the greatness.
And 3 seniors, 3 graduates.
Okay.
So I think 6 total. So they're losing a chunk of players.
That's a good chunk of players, yeah.
Yeah, well, they retained 4 starters from last year, so you knew that wasn't going to be able to last for too long.
Yeah, that's all right. They got a Sanders kid coming up, so it's okay.
That's true.
Shalomi.
Shalomi
Sanders. She'll know me.
Will she?
She'll know me after she starts winning some games. I don't know. I'm trying to do something on the fly that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, no, we're just going to move on to hockey.
No, I said keep going.
She'll make me some money.
Why did I let you keep talking?
Keep beating the dead horse. I love it.
Yeah, let's just keep trying, Colin. Keep trying. So, speaking of keep trying, the DU Pioneers are doing what the DU Pioneers do, and that is move on to the Frozen Four yet again. And
how many Frozen Fours is that in a row? Isn't it like 3 or 4 or something like that?
No, they didn't go last year.
What? I thought they did. Okay, never mind.
Well, so the Frozen Four technically is just the last 4. They did make it into the first round, but they lost right away in the very first round. So like the Frozen Four, they have regionals beforehand, which is what just happened where DU played 2 games. They played Thursday and then last night. Won both games 2-1. This team is young. This team has no transfer portal players. And they were going up against a
Cornell
team in Cornell last night that was way bigger than them. Every player outweighed the guys on the ice. Each player from Cornell, the Big Red, were much bigger than the Pioneers by like 15 to 20 pounds. It was kind of unbelievable. And DU caught some breaks, but also has played really well over this last weekend. And after double overtime game, they have 11 double overtime game on Thursday that I'm lucky I didn't stay for because I would have missed opening day. I thought about changing my flight to stay for the game, and I'm glad I didn't. But DU looks really good heading into this final matchup, the final 2 games.
So they'll play Boston on April 11th, obviously in St. Paul.
Yeah, everything's in St. Paul from here on out. Sorry, guys, is there some buzzing going on for me on my end?
No,
not that I can hear.
Okay.
I mean, I hear you messing with your pop guard, but
yeah, I don't know.
Pop.
I don't. Hang on.
You're good. I just want to make sure. I just hear a little buzzing in my ear, so I want to make sure that the audio was good on the other end. But
turn yourself down.
I hear no buzzing.
Cool. Then we're good.
Yeah, I don't hear anything either. So yeah, they'll Obviously, April 11th, they'll take on Boston, and then they'll move on from there depending on their results. And the other side of the bracket, looking like DU might be able to bring another championship back to Denver.
Sounds like fun.
I'm excited.
Wouldn't it be nice to have the same parade that we had 2 years ago with the Pioneers winning the championship, the Avs winning the championship, and I mean it was East High School, but another high school team winning a championship, and whatever. I mean lacrosse.
Well, I mean,
too,
if
but,
you don't have a high school team, you can throw the Nuggets in there.
That sounds better.
Yeah, but it was cool to have all the hockey
celebration.
Remember all the things that was Hockey Town USA is now Denver, Colorado.
Yeah,
taking it from Detroit. Your favorite place you want to go visit, Nick?
Oh gosh, still mad about that. Actually, while we're speaking of traveling, how was opening day at Arizona? Like, how different was it?
So opening day in Arizona was definitely different than here. Not as much. It's definitely not closed down. It was packed. It was busy everywhere, but it wasn't turning away people busy.
Okay.
Which was definitely a different thing. I walked into a bar. Colin walked into a bar. That word's never said before in his life.
He said, "Who put this fucking bar here? Ow!
How did this bar end up here?" I walked into the bar and home dude checking IDs was just like, "Are you drinking or eating?" I was like, "I'm just meeting a friend." No ID check, no nothing. Didn't care. Just like, okay, cool, whatever.
Wow.
You don't see that anywhere downtown on opening day.
Hell no.
Streets were not closed down. The atmosphere was lively. The fans were great in Arizona, except for the one security guard at the entrance who was a total bummer. You must really have hated his job. I don't know. Like, literally, everyone was cool that I came across in my Rocky stuff, except for home dude at the entrance calling us worse than ladies and hurry up. People are waiting when there's one person behind me and my friend, and all the other lines are longer than ours. And I looked at him. I was like, "You okay, dude?"
Wow.
I was so confused at him, but I got some rally towels for the Diamondbacks. Got my first game thing. Stadium's really nice. Stadium
it is really nice.
Designed by the same guy that did Coors Field.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities. They've kept it clean. Found one place that had Coors NA, which was cool.
Nice.
But I got a chance to see my friend Billy. Got a chance to see Rep.
I saw that.
No, that was Ryan Spielborg's.
It was one of these days you'll remember who the hell you chose originally. But it was great, man. It was a pretty cool experience. Sitting as close as I was really fun, and it was fun giving crap. The fans didn't quite realize that they could talk shit with me.
Yeah,
because they were like, "Oh, pull him." Pull Freeland. I was like, Kevin Freeland, you want him staying on the mound, guys.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to go to the bullpen. He sucks right now. Keep scoring. Keep hitting the over. And I'm like celebrating as like I hit the third over in the game when it goes over 15 and a half or 16 and a half, excuse me. The only one I didn't hit was 17 and a half.
Oh, man.
But I was like, why do you want Freeland out of this game? It's the bottom of the third inning, and he hasn't gotten one out, and you've gone through the order.
Yeah.
Bases are still loaded. Like, you want him to keep rolling. But I was yelling at Charlie Blackman. I'm like, Charlie, keep your arm warm. Charlie Blackman! But they pulled him after, I think he only played into the fourth inning, maybe the fifth. Yeah, it was a cool experience. It was easy to get in and out of. I mean, that stadium, talk about a place that's what she built to yeah. I wish she would have said that over the week. Man, nobody. But a place that really was easy to get to. I mean, for games, I don't know how the Cardinals Stadium is, but I'm assuming it's right along their path because I took the train in, I got off the train, and I was a block away from the basketball arena and the baseball stadium. I mean, my hotel, there aren't a lot of hotels down there. My hotel I stayed at, granted, was brand new. But I was 4 blocks away from right outside my door. I could see, I took some pictures from just down the street. You could see the Chase Field logo and walk up. But yeah, cool experience. Not as much of the outside extra stuff going on as in Denver. I guess I don't know if I expected that, but
I kind of would have.
It's March in Arizona, like it's still not that bad. So I would think that they would have a lot of things going on. They have a mini McGregor Square type going on, but
maybe they're just used to being indoors because it's so damn hot,
Yeah, but it's March. At least they had the roof open, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was really cool. I just expect a little bit more for the National League champs. It's all I would say from the team aspect. I know they didn't win it all. My tickets probably would have been a lot more expensive, but yeah, the stadium is good, clean, lots of good stuff. I mean, the Arizona hot dog there is phenomenal. The $17 foot long hot dog.
Did you get up to the organist?
The organist
up on the third deck. They have the guy that plays the organ.
I was on the third deck and I didn't see him.
Yeah, he's like in his little corner, just about the left field corner. If you go up there, he like sitting by him. He sits there and like there's a bunch of people standing there with him, and just like the lady in Minnesota, he'll talk to you and play songs. And
I don't know if they changed that because now it's like a
Billy talked
right by
yesterday.
the child's play area.
It's been a while since I've been there.
Okay.
But he was there because Billy even talked to him.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, I might have missed him. I didn't. I missed that because I went upstairs to the kids' playground area. They have talk about a great place for kids. Like you have a whole playground that's not like the one the Rockies have. That is, you're going to burn yourself touching anything.
I used to love that playground when I was a kid. But yeah, no, it was also stupid hot. And you had to be careful in certain places.
Yeah, it felt like the Hot Pocket joke. Scalding hot on the first bite and then ice cold underneath.
Absolutely.
Everything's scalding hot that you touch. But yeah, it's totally it was really good. Like I said, people were really helpful. Most people knew where things were. That you could tell some staff was new because they expected a large crowd. But overall, no problems. Like I said, it took a minute for fans to realize like I was giving my own team crap.
Yeah.
And saying, oh my God, the rally's starting when we got a runner on.
The rally's starting.
By the way, 7 years ago against the San Francisco Giants, last time the Rockies scored 13 runs in an inning in Oracle.
It's a good ballpark to do it in. It's easy to do. It's a big outfield. Oh, man. Well, let's transition to some winning for a little bit, kind of. Nuggets are
like my $500 scratcher.
Yeah, like your 500. Took you that long to figure it out. Oh, by the way, before we move on, who's in first place in our bracket thing? By the way,
we're gonna get to that, but I didn't have it up, so I don't know. I also actually won twice. There's another Slingo one. You see all those lines on the Slingo? Those are wins. Those little gold coins, those are also wins.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about the bracket here in the victory formation. Joe's Duke Blue Devils playing here in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait to get to that.
Moving on, the Nuggets they're having their little end of the season slowdown right now. Half a game out of first place. As long as they stay within the top three, that's really all that matters. But I'd really like for that home court advantage again, just because they play so much better at home anyway, and it's just more comfortable for all of us. Not that they can't be bad or be good on the road, but it's that same spot last year where they started slowing down. Last year seemed more intentional though, because you're just trying to rest guys, make sure that they're good for the postseason. And
I think that's kind of what's happening with this year too. Like obviously it's a little bit more injury set. No, because last year Jokic had the ankle injury. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's just Jamal instead of Jokic with the injury. So it's still a little bit concerning because we don't have the consistency off the bench this year that we did last year, which we've been harping on the entire fucking season. I feel like that's where the concern for this team really comes in. Is we're cool with benching Jamal for a while, let him get healthy. He'll play a few games before the playoffs and it'll be fine. But like it would be nice to see some wins. I would enjoy that, but this was the time of year last year where they just started emptying the bench, and we saw Peyton Watson for the first time, and we saw
Swatson.
Exactly. So there was talk that he might even work his way into as like a ninth man, 2-3 minutes a game, something like that, or someone to kind of come in and bring the energy or something. And I don't know if we're going to get another guy like that. We kind of already have. It's kind of Colin Gillespie. I don't know if he's going to make the jump next year that Peyton Watson did this year. That was a massive jump. But get ready for some bench guys coming in and maybe some scrappy wins against not great teams. And, probably not a ton of playing time for the main stars. But as long as it translates into playoff success again like it did last year, then we should be okay. But going into the playoffs with that kind of mentality does worry me a little bit, because it did feel like it took a couple of games against Minnesota last year in round one for them to really kind of move on all cylinders. And then series was over at that point. But I don't know if they'll be able to afford to have that warm-up period in the first couple of games of round one like they did last year. I think their round one opponent is going to be terrifying, whoever it is. It's going to be a team like, Luka and the Mavericks, or, Steph and Warriors, LeBron and the Lakers, who on paper don't scare you that much. It's just because of those guys. I would love it if somehow the Houston Rockets get in, but that also means the Nuggets would end up locking up the number one seed, which I'm not sure they're going to do, because I don't think they're going to prioritize number one seed over health.
Well, no, we saw it last year. They didn't prioritize health. I mean, they just so happened to lock up the number, or they did prioritize health over playing in those games, even though they had all, everything locked up. I'm not. We talked about this yesterday, and Dante from the station seems to be really worried about. He's saying that the Nuggets should be worried about these teams. I'm not as.
But he's a
worried.
Suns fan.
I know, but I'm. So taking it from someone else's outside perspective, I can see where he's coming from, because, like you said, Joe, you see Steph, you see Clay, you see LeBron, you see AD. You mentioned Luka. You see those names, but those aren't teams that are worrisome to the Nuggets unless they get an injury, unless someone's hurt and misses significant time in the playoffs. And I brought this point up yesterday. You can't really name me a champion who has lost one of their top two players in the playoffs and gone on to win it all. I mean, I was trying to think of one. So yeah, if Jokic or Murray are out, you're going to have trouble. Are you going to have as much trouble if it's an Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., KCP? No, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be more difficult, but not as tough as if you don't have Murray or Jokic. So the important part is get those two healthy and get them ready, make sure they're ready for the playoffs. The rest of this season, not that it doesn't matter, but as long as you're one of those top three seeds, really, I'd prefer to be top two, because the chances of Minnesota or Oklahoma City losing is still pretty high as well, because those teams, Oklahoma City doesn't have the playoff experience. Minnesota has some now, but I think they're still pretty susceptible. So I'm not as fearful of the Nuggets run, and maybe that's me being too cocky or confident in this team turning it on in the playoffs. But you said it took a few games. I think that was a little bit more of Ant-Man turning it on for Minnesota than it was the Nuggets not having it turned on. Joe.
Yeah, I'm not worried. It feels like just one of those things that they're just going to do, and I'm okay with that. If Coach Malone brought the Nuggets their first NBA championship, so why am I not going to trust in what he's doing right now? It worked last year. He's sticking with the formula, not tinkering too much with anything. Let these guys relax and come out into the playoffs happy, healthy, and ready to beat some ass.
There you go. That's all you can really do, because there's like 6 teams the Nuggets could end up playing right now in the first round. Like right now, they're in the 3. They're at the 3 seed, but it's basically a tie. The Nuggets have one more loss than the OKC and the Timberwolves, but they all have 51 wins. So then right now, if it ended today, it would be the Mavericks as the 3-6 matchup, which definitely is a series you don't want round one. Obviously, it's not something that I think the Nuggets would lose, but like Luka, Kyrie, that amount of defense and shooters they have accrued around those guys, that's a good team. That's a team that could surprise you. One win above them, the Pelicans, I would rather see them. They scare me less than the Mavericks do. That'd be kind of nice. The Clippers are only 1 game ahead of them, so 2 games ahead of Mavericks. So anything could happen there. We could get Nuggets Clippers round 1, which I would love. But the Clippers are a much better team than they've been the past few years. So that would actually be a challenging matchup. The Suns at number 7, they're definitely a different team. They feel almost like the Brooklyn Nets of a couple years ago with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden with those 3 stars. But like their bench is definitely better than Nuggets bench. I wouldn't say their 5 starters are better, but they've got a few guys that you would take over the Nuggets guys in that same, 1 through 5 position. But that's one you can see them steal a little bit, but that's what I'm not as worried about. Sacramento feels weird because they feel like the same team as the Nuggets, just younger. So that's always scary, but their lack of defense doesn't worry me. And then, like you said, AD and LeBron, and then Steph, Clay, Draymond, and the Warriors. Then maybe Houston comes in, but yeah, the Nuggets have to get the 1 seed for that. So I don't know, man. Any one of those series could be worrisome, but I think the only one that actually would worry me would be the Mavericks, because they're just with Luka being able to do anything, and Kyrie being ridiculous too, and just that team around them. That's the one that I think would worry me the most. But this isn't a Nuggets team that I feel that worried about. So I almost want that matchup round 1. Kind of like last year, I wanted fucking everybody. I wanted to beat the Warriors. I wanted to beat the Lakers. I wanted to beat the Suns. I wanted to beat everybody that had been the Nuggets, like bugaboo teams up until that point.
You wanted a Mortal Kombat gauntlet.
Yeah,
climb up the hill. Yeah, beat everybody to get to the championship.
Yes. And we kind of got that. We didn't get to play Steph and the Warriors and get revenge on them, but that's fine. Maybe we'll get it round 1 this year.
Turns out Goro was at the top of the mountain in the Miami Heat.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, I guess you could argue that one's Shang Tsung because it's just the weird old guy. But I still feel that this year. It's just I feel they've moved up a tier. It's like when you go from like regular to hard or whatever the difficulty names are in Mortal Kombat, to keep that analogy. Like your team feels a little bit less good than it was last year, and every other team feels better. But I still kind of welcome that. I want to prove that Jokic and the Nuggets are still the best team in the NBA. So yeah, give me Luka and the Mavs in round 1. Give me, OKC or Minnesota in round 2, and then give me the other one in fucking conference finals, and then actually give me the Celtics too. Let's go. I want to beat everyone, but I'm not going to look at every matchup as over because it's not that simple this year.
Well,
sorry to go
just
off.
to go back, you kind of started with you talked about some of those teams and the Nuggets, and you said the bench is better, but this isn't about a bench series. I mean, unless there are the injuries, like I mentioned, then it becomes about the bench. But the starting 5 for the Nuggets is better than anyone else's starting 5 out there right now. Yeah. And yeah, there might be. I don't want to say more talented. They're different types of talented players on these other teams.
Oh yeah.
But I still don't have the fear of the Nuggets not being able to shut down these top players from the other squads. We saw them do that in multiple series last year. And Nick, to go back to what you said with this team, being the same team, trusting Coach Malone, there's one difference in between the Avs second run and this Nuggets second run. The Avs didn't make any trades. They stood pat. They didn't do anything at the trade deadline, just like the Nuggets didn't. But the Avs stood pat with a new GM in McFarland, who was kind of just getting his feet wet. I mean, he made a few trades. He made a few moves. So I'm not saying he did. But the Nuggets stood pat with the same group that already won it last year, same ownership group, same management. It was all the same down the line. They didn't lose any of those guys or promote within and lose a guy because of that. So that's why I go back to this Nuggets team and having the faith, because they saw what this team was, and I have faith that they can turn it on. I already said it. I have faith they turn it on in the playoffs. I'm not I'm not scared of anyone besides Boston. And yeah, maybe I should be, because anything can happen and they could get lazy. But besides Boston, I'm not that worried right now. I mean, I'm not worried about anyone in the West, I should say.
Yeah, Boston's so far out though too that I mean, we'll get a better feel too come first, second round how this Nuggets team is set to stack up, because I mean nobody expected last year for Boston to fall to Miami.
No.
Yeah, everyone was already expecting a Denver-Boston matchup.
Although once they started losing games, you kind of did expect it, because
Yeah.
the way that Boston changed. Like, I'm kind of the opposite in terms of what Colin said. I'm more worried about the West than I am anybody that comes out of the East, even Boston, because Boston is so reliant on that 3-point shot. They don't really have much of an in the paint game, even though they have guys that can do it. They just don't really focus on that nearly as much. And if those threes aren't hitting consistently and a lot for each guy to an extent, like you need Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis kind of all firing on all cylinders in order to beat a team like the Nuggets that can score just like that as well. I'm
Nuggets
more
aren't
worried
as-
about
the
the
Nuggets-
the
the
West
Nuggets are nowhere
playoff
near as-
series and being able to overcome the non-Jokic minutes, which has been their issue every other year except for last year, was that when Jokic comes off the floor, they go on the other team goes on a run, and every time Jokic is on the court, he's kind of having to play catch up. So as long as that doesn't happen, we're going to be okay. But that's what I'm more concerned about, is going against all the different teams in the West. I'm honestly not that scared of Boston. Even though they're probably the best team in the East, they have the clear roadmap on how to beat them.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they start, then I was going to say that if they start losing, yeah, then you can see some fractures in their game like we did in the past. But the Nuggets can't hang with that type of shooting. Do they have talent to do it? Yeah, but they don't shoot anywhere near the same clip. I want to say that percentage-wise, I had this up the other day. I believe the Nuggets are in the bottom third percentage-wise as far as how often they're shooting threes and their attempts in it, while Boston is up near the top. The Nuggets don't play that game. Not that they can't play that, but they don't play it very well. Their game is get that pick and roll, get those guys open, get the easy shots, get the rebounds. But yeah, you're right though. Boston has been hot, and so if the Nuggets can knock them off their feet, or if any other team can knock them off their feet and rattle them, yeah, we saw fractures in that team, and that's what happened against Miami last year. Is they started to fracture as a group, and that's why they lost that series. There was infighting, and so, or maybe not infighting, but there was definitely arguments. Guys were not happy with each other and how things were going. So I really sit there and say Boston has consistently done it all year long as far as their shooting goes. So yeah, Nuggets need to stop them, but it scares me because that's not their game. That's not their strong suit. And so you're playing a totally different animal.
Yeah, like last year they had a much better 3-point number than this year. This year they're literally 28th in the league, and this is in made 3-pointers. So not necessarily in how many you attempt and all that, but 11.4 made 3-pointers per game is what they average right now. Let's see. Do we get an attempts? Nope. It just has makes. But Boston is number one with 16.5 made 3-pointers per game. So that's a big difference. But the Nuggets, they've operated way better in the paint this year than they did last year. But a lot of that also is just because you don't have Bruce Brown out there putting up 20-something points a game off the bench, scoring from everywhere. It felt like last year, and Jamal was healthier longer, I feel like, once he got ramped up in the beginning of the year. So it was just raining threes to an extent. Like KCP had a ridiculous 3-point percentage last year. He just didn't shoot enough threes. He wasn't actually allowed to compete in the 3-point contest, which a lot of us were sad about.
Yeah.
But they've definitely not attempted as many and not made nearly as many this year, which definitely hurts their offensive output. I mean, but if they can keep it together with those starters on the court, or just work them to the bone and just keep those 5 guys and kind of do it like the old Pistons did in the early 2000s, where it was like, this is the team, and then you kind of don't want to know who's on the bench.
Yeah, they're going to have to get there first.
Yeah. And they've improved defensively too, so they'll be able to figure out how to adjust for those 3-pointers. Speaking of playoffs, we do have one team that is officially in.
Clinched.
That would be the Colorado Avalanche. Their business is not done yet, though, as they still are trying to get to top of the West as well. They were also sitting in third last night, last I checked.
I thought you were going to say they're still trying to get Nathan McKinnon an assist.
See, I've watched that. Let's get into it. I've watched that play a few times now, and it pains me to say that I think the NHL got it right. When I watched it the first time, I was watching it with angry eyes, and I wanted that streak to continue, but I think the NHL got it right.
Well, no, the only reason they didn't get it right is because that would mean that they got it wrong on a previous play where they gave an assist. The same exact thing happened.
I must have missed that one.
Have you seen the Detroit? I'll pull it up.
No, I haven't.
So the same thing happened. I want to say I'm pretty sure it was Detroit, but the same thing happened. An own goal by the other team, and they gave an assist to the guy who passed the puck to the other player. Like either the NHL got it right once and wrong once. Well, they got it right once and wrong once, regardless. Right now,
yeah. It's just which one is right and which one is wrong.
One's right, which one's wrong.
Yeah,
that's how it stands because the same exact thing happened in another play. I'll pull it up while you talk about it. But they got it wrong in my book because if you're going to give someone credit somewhere along the way, you have to give it.
And I didn't know about the other one. I just watched it based on what I knew about the rule and how the play looked. And that's why I thought they got it right. By the way, thank you everybody that's tuned in right now. Whatever platform you're watching us on, and bye to the one person that just left. Thanks for tuning in. We'll miss you now.
We appreciated you.
Now we don't.
Now we don't.
They started to talk hockey and they said, "Well, see you later."
Okay, bye.
It's not going to be for long. I mean, come on.
I know. We still got one more segment before the victory formation. Jeez.
I wish we could see who it was so we could then just start ragging on one particular person. Like, Clayton, what's your problem? You know?
I mean, I hope the Avs they have to climb over Dallas right now for that's
fucking Dallas.
That's not.
How cool would that be to get a playoff series of Nuggets, Mavericks, and
it is still
Stars,
Dallas. So Dallas has played 75 games. They're sitting at 103 points. The Avs are at 100 points. And I think the Avs have a game in hand on the Stars. So it's the Western Conference right now sits 1 through 8. Dallas, Colorado, Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Nashville, Vegas, and the Kings. So this is a team I want to have home ice. Avs have been just barely above 500 away from Ball Arena, and they've completely dominated at home.
Well, that's enough for a playoff run, you know. Just be slightly above 500 on the road and dominate at home, and, you know, as long as you're not behind in any series.
29-7-1 at Ball, 18-14-5 when they're on the road. And the the Nuggets are starting to run away with their games. It's a 101-77 right now at the end of the third.
Yeah, it's anyone's game, fellas. It's anyone's game.
Let me pause. Pause. I'm not gonna play the audio, but
play it.
Well, I don't want to get us stopped,
It's a slap on the hand.
Yeah, don't actually.
A slap on the hand, a slap on the base.
Slap on the base.
A slap on the base. You sound like a leprechaun.
All right. So you got, is it up, guys?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, this is the play.
Okay.
That is supposedly. I mean, you take a look. So it was against the Red Wings. Excuse me.
Okay.
Also, fun fact: they played that slap at a bass clip during Rush concerts.
So this same thing right there, that was an assist that he had, same as McKinnon.
There we go. Boom.
And I can replay it. Is that how? I don't know how much different that is from McKinnon.
I just love seeing all the other videos on the feed. There's Judge Judy.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and find it, but yes. So
Yeah, from what I remember,
that doesn't look that dissimilar from what happened to McKinnon.
Yeah. Like I said, if I hadn't seen that one, so I was just going based on what I knew. I'm still mad about it. I would rather the streak still be going, but you know what? If it's the Stanley Cup over the streak, then give me the cup.
Yeah, McKinnon doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't.
My friend,
it was more for us.
Oh, shout out to Chef Joe though. He had McKinnon getting a point in every home game. Broken. Nice. He placed that bet at the start of the season, and
fuck yeah, crushed. That's a good one.
But it got crushed. Unless it changes. Close.
Yeah,
he almost won.
I don't think it's going to change. I thought they reviewed it already.
I don't know.
We'll find out. So yeah, I mean, I want the Avs to keep playing so that they can get themselves home ice. I mean, if it's between you and Dallas, that's a later in the playoffs problem. We can deal with that later. But right now, focus on winning.
Winning, you say?
Big smile on your face there.
Duh.
Winning, you say?
Winning, I say. So let's get to one more losing before we get to winning. Colin's really excited about winning today.
I was born with tiger blood.
The Rockies won yesterday. Okay.
I was going to say, hold on.
They showed up finally. They put it together. There were a lot of They took a lot of walks.
Whatever it takes. Get on base.
I will give credit where credit's due. They took a lot of walks.
To quote Jonah Hill.
And I mean, Kyle Freeland was Kyle Freeland. We never know what we're gonna get with him. He's a damn box of chocolates.
Kyle Freeland.
A blister in about 5 weeks.
Yeah. Saturday was a little bit better. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game. I was distracted by other things going on.
Saturday was better because they won.
Oh, I'm sorry, Friday. I skipped over Friday. Friday, they gave up half as many runs as they did in the first game.
In one inning.
Yeah. And yesterday, they took their walks. They looked better. Chris Bryant is not starting today. So
does that remind you of another former Rocky who didn't play on Sundays?
Can't remember.
Often injured.
About. Yeah.
You know, overpaid. Didn't meet the hype.
Yeah. Didn't he wear number 20?
No mo.
No.
He gone.
I don't know. I mean, obviously.
So I'm going to guess Tulo? Was that Tulo we're talking about?
Nothing.
Tulo would never play on Sundays.
No.
Really? That's hilarious. Yes. I'm also just glad I got that right. So the guy you took a picture with was no I'm kidding.
Garrett Atkins.
I was doing that all day. I was like, was it Vinny Castilla? Was it Galarraga? Insert.
I don't know. So I posed this question to my parents today, and I know I'm going to get as much blowback from Colin as I did from them.
Let's fight.
The Rockies are doing what they're supposed to do.
What is
they're
that?
Sucking.
Okay.
Let's see what they can do with sucking, because they're doing exactly what the Broncos are doing right now, which is sucking. The only difference is the Broncos know how to win and are a winning organization.
No,
wait, and let me finish the sentence before you jump on me, okay?
But if you hadn't added that, then it would have totally made sense.
No.
I think it'd be fine.
Because he didn't let me finish my sentence. Jesus. Joe gets like a half hour to give one thought. I try to take 5 minutes. And next thing you know, I'm being interrupted 4 times.
I was quiet till you said anything about the Broncos.
I know.
It's because you were right until that point.
The Broncos are doing what they're supposed to do. The Broncos are...
The Bronkies!
Jesus.
The Bronkies. The Stan Bronkies over here.
Yeah.
To combine all of the teams.
See what happens when you just...
When you make a
goddamn penny on the tracks, and now my train of thought is derailed.
The Bronco Nagurskis.
So the Rockies are doing what they're supposed to do because they're sucking. I mean, they've been sucking for a while, but they're sucking. They're gonna get better draft picks. It's just a matter of the Rockies' problem is they have a front office that won't accept any advice or any new vision. Broncos just don't know what they want to do right now. Okay, the Rockies. Wait. Let me finish.
I thought you were done.
Nope.
Let me finish.
Why are we so mad at the Rockies for actually doing what they're supposed to do?
Because they haven't done it until this point, and they should have been doing this years ago, and none of us really believe that that's what they're doing.
But they're not even getting the credit for it.
Because we don't believe that they're actually trying to do this. It feels like they're lucking into sucking. You know, it's not like sucking for luck; it's lucking into suck.
I don't know if you read my intro, Nick. Like I literally said, well, for the Rockies, there's always next year. I was walking around Chase Field to all the Rockies fans. I'm like, well, there's always next year. Literally. Like, Nick, what you were saying at the start of that was perfect. What did I say last year? I would rather the Rockies just go 162-0, have a year of total ineptitude, be freaking terrible, lose everything, because that would force the Montforts to sell or realize that what they're doing isn't working. What I've said is, like, if they're gonna suck terribly.
It's
please
162.
Be bad. Be a horrible team. Okay. Get your high picks, whatever. Hopefully, if you're bad enough, people aren't going to show up to games. That's what I want for the Rockies, because if people aren't showing up, Montfort's not making money. We're never getting Montfort on anymore, by the way. This is not happening, because nope. I am dead set on this Rockies team just being so terrible. Please. Like, I am having fun watching them lose. Yeah, would it be nice to watch them win a game here and there? Sure, why not? But even blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. And that's probably what the Rockies did yesterday. Like, I am fine with them losing all of these games. I don't care, because if they lose, hopefully it becomes less of an attraction to pay $20 to get into Coors Field to go drink for 2 hours, because you have a time limit on how long you can stay there before going out to another place, because the product on the field is so bad. And I know nobody at Coors Field is watching the game. I'm not blind to that fact that this is bad baseball happening at Coors Field. But the reason why it's the best bar in Colorado is because in Colorado, you could have stayed at Coors Field for 5 or 6 hours and partied on the rooftop like it was a bar or a nightclub. And now that baseball's implemented these time switches, it has become way less of that. So you're not sitting up on the rooftop for 6 hours drinking beers and hanging out with your friends and shooting the shit. No, it's gotten cut down significantly. So if the Rockies are not putting a good product on the field, why are you going to pay money to go into a club that you can only spend 2-3 hours at?
I just changed our YouTube description to, well, there's always next year, Colorado Rockies motto.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was telling everybody. I am fine with the Rockies losing, and where you lost me was the Broncos knew how to win. They didn't know how to win. They lucked into wins. They had to get 3 turnovers a game, a plus turnover margin every single game.
I wasn't talking about last year.
But you did. You were.
No, I wasn't. I was.
What, you're talking about them this next year?
No, I'm talking about the organization itself. I was talking about the organization itself.
They haven't known how to win
organization because
10 years.
No, this organization's never won.
No, but there was before the Bolins sold. Yes. There was still a mentality of following Pat's vision.
Oh yeah,
but that's what I meant by winning mentality.
That's a different organization, though.
But it's still that was what we had. We're only 3 years. We're only 3 years into this new ownership.
Well, then you could say, then these Rockies should know how to hit bombs, because in the 90s, all they did was hit dingers, all right?
Well, that's because everybody was juiced, too.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's well, then get them juiced again, all right? They hit swamp donkeys all over the place, and they don't do it anymore, all right, Nick? So don't tell me that because this organization used to do it, they know how to do it now. Like, the Broncos lucked into wins last year, and so the Rockies... they don't know how to win, but also lose it all. You were right. I thought you were going to go when you started off by they're doing exactly what they should do, winning 1 out of every 3 games. I was going to be like, oh God, you think that they're like an okay team or something. I thought you were going to get on Monfort's bandwagon all of a sudden and say, well, what he's doing is actually working. No, what he's doing isn't working. It's just the Rockies what he's doing that he thinks is working, building a winning team, doesn't work. So for us as fans, what he's doing is, for me as a fan, what he is doing is working, because the more they suck, the less likely it is people will go spend their money.
But the problem is the Monforts won't sell.
Not unless they have a terrible season and people stop showing up.
I don't even think they'll do that.
They will. Because if
prices go up, the team's bad, nobody wants to. Finally, the word starts to get out. Because the reason that it's so big is because people in Colorado don't watch baseball. They don't care. They're just going to hang out. You know, it's funny when I make that joke. I guess at my former place, to people, I'd be like, "Yeah, man, I grew up in Colorado. We don't have baseball out here." And like the people that watch sports would get it and giggle, but a lot of people would just kind of look at me and go, "No, there's the Rockies. I've gone to games." And it's like, we know you've gone to games. That's the problem.
Yeah, we know you have. You don't get what I'm saying. But that's like the best thing that can happen for the Rockies is for them to be in a world of suck and people stop showing up, and then the Monforts have to sell because they're still in that delusional state where, like, I mean, I wish that Monfort's plan would have worked. Don't get me wrong. I wish it would have, but it hasn't. And he hasn't. The only time he's shown a change in his ways was last trade deadline, where he got rid of Crone, he got rid of Grichuk, and brought in pitchers. I applauded him for that because it's a move that we hadn't seen before. So maybe something changes this year. Maybe we see that happen and he really goes with the total youth movement, but we've seen the youth movement by this team before, and we've also seen it not pan out. So do I trust that it's going to work? No, but I want it to be at the point where they suck so bad, no one shows up, and they are forced to sell.
Yeah, it's just sad that now with
McGregor Square,
that's going to take 5 years probably of sucking for that to actually because financially nothing will force them to sell the team because of McGregor Square. They make so much money. So it kind of has to be just a team performance type thing where, you know, the fans are clamoring for it because the MLB can't force them to sell, right?
Not unless there's like Dan Snyder type of stuff. But no, but that's what I'm saying. But
we're sure he's not doing anything like that.
In baseball, we've seen that happen a lot. I mean, the Marlins won a World Series and Wayne Huizenga sold off the whole team. We've seen the Pittsburgh Pirates be terrible for years.
So the Marlins do it too.
And they've won, and now they have a good young squad. They're squad I'm like look out for this year. Told Nick that.
I think Cincinnati's the squad to look out for.
Cincinnati was there too, but that was another team I was going to bring up. How many years of suck did Cincinnati have? The only reason they were relevant at all was because they brought in Ken Griffey Jr. while he was on his last legs. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, there have been years of suck, and Cincinnati was forced to change ownership also because their owner had some disparaging comments.
Can we please get Dick Monfort to just say something racist, please? Just
he's never coming on this show.
He won't even fire himself.
It is gone. Can we just get him to say something racist? Please, Dick, come on our show. We just want you to say something racist.
Get him to tweet something. You know, well, it's not going to work if you have to AI or trap him, because then people will be on his side. We don't want that. We want him to randomly, just get drunk and say something stupid and racist to somebody. How hard is that?
Just meet us at Tom's Watch Bar. We'll have a couple drinks. We'll do a show with you, Dick.
Yeah. One of my buddies works at Tom's Watch Bar, and I guess Monford's son comes in all the time and racks up multiple $1,000 bills and refuses to pay.
That's surprising.
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I'm excited baseball season's back. My Yankees are 4-0 right now. So
once Nick, I will say, like I said, you started off that thing correctly. You just went way too far off the rails by bringing up the Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos had nothing to do with that. You were pretty good.
You were on a good roll, Nick. It was fun while it lasted.
Speaking of being on
I knew what I meant.
If you're on Instagram, you're going to want to pop over to Facebook or YouTube here in about 45 seconds, because you're going to
the intro's about to play.
Because we're not stopping. And why should we?
Play it.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most
humble man in the history of time, least, featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kinda winging it.
Oh, yes. Welcome into the victory formation where all we do is win, win, win. Like I do on Scratchers and, in life. Let's get to the bracket challenge. Whatever Nick was saying, he might have been first between the three of us. Technically, it would only be between the two of us because Joe decided to not fill out his bracket. And in a way, Joe is still the most alive out of any of us because he has Duke winning it all. We all know how big of a Duke fan Joe is. Joe is a huge Blue Devil homer. His favorite team ever is the Duke Blue Devils. Please send him all Blue Devils gear.
Please.
But in the rankings for
what the hell happened
for the league. Well, see, Nick, you spoke too early, okay? You spoke too early and you screwed it all up. Yep. Here is the bracket challenge. Nate, who's not going to be in first for long, his outstanding picks
is this our fantasy
has him in first place with 75 points, but he has no more possible points because his last eligible team is out. So Nate, you are done, even though you are in first place. Enjoy it while it lasts, Mr. Wicker. Andre, who I have no clue who you are, but you're in second with the third highest most possible points remaining. Oops, sorry, I went too far. I forgot I was sharing. Samuel is tied for second with 73 points, but you are pretty much done because you only have 89 possible points total. Nick, you're in fourth with the second highest most possible points remaining, sitting at 72. And David, I hope that's David Sups. I think it might be. Mr. Sups, if that is you, Sups.
Oh.
At 70 with 134 possibly remaining. And yes, I will take. Oh, yeah. Alex somehow has 128 points remaining.
Does that guy have a dog, Colin?
I don't know how.
Because then we can have some Sups dog.
He has two dogs. One was Champ and one was Bailey. One actually might be past now. But I will go all the way to the end where the profit is done. 44 points. Nobody remaining. Kentucky in the first round. Well, see ya later. Yep. So that's kind of a wrap up of that. Shout out Brandon's phenomenal bracket, my homie Brandon. And Jonah. Jonah's still alive, still has a chance, but all you guys with Connecticut are hoping that Purdue loses because David, if Purdue advances, that he's going to take it all, basically. And Michael Spillane, our fearless leader, is not going to be a leader in any clubhouse.
Oh, Captain, my captain. Yeah, I with Nate. My automated bracket that I did had Houston, Arizona as the finals matchup. So I was alive for a little bit, but I also made the bracket after round one. So it was really funny watching the randomized bracket and pick games that I already knew the outcome of, and it picked the losers of those games. I'm like, well, fuck it, it's random. This is kind of funny. And I filled out the whole thing, and yeah, I had it was right about a lot of it. It had Creighton beating CU, but obviously it was like a predictor website too, because you could choose the level of randomness. So it must have had some predictors in it too. I went complete randomness. I wanted, Vermont, who played against Duke, to win the whole thing in my randomized bracket, and I didn't get that. So everything's bad.
Well, we move on to the games. Don't look at your screens because one of the games that we are picking is a game that just tipped off, NC State versus Duke. I mean, we already know Joe is going with Duke. So we're going to already start off with Nick. Who you got? Number 11, NC State.
I'm not going against my bracket. I'm picking Duke.
He goes with the Dukies. Joe, obviously you're sticking with your favorite team ever.
Of course, yeah. North Carolina State.
North Carolina State.
Because it's not UNC, so they have a chance, right?
Well, actually, UNC beat Duke, if you guys don't remember, a few picks back when I was the only one who chose North Carolina. Because y'all love Duke so much.
Yeah, they're my favorite.
Are you sure, Joe? Because that was your pick to win the whole tournament.
No, I picked Vermont, remember? I was like, I don't care. I'm not picking Duke. I'm going to take the team playing against them. And
I think the video shows you picking Duke.
No, it doesn't.
I am going with Duke also because my parlay already got ruined when Tennessee lost to Purdue earlier today. So Give me Duke. Well, I'll have to find that number. I had it before. And we're going to stick in the Carolinas. We are heading to some college baseball super action. We got number 15, Eastern Carolina. I believe they are the Pirates. Versus, looky here, Joe's new favorite team, North Carolina State. Number 22, North Carolina State Wolfpack.
Oh, sick.
So, Joe, are you sticking with your adopted favorite team when it's not Duke? Or are you going with East Carolina?
I kind of want to go with East Carolina just to keep it inconsistent. Yeah, let's do it. Fucking, what is it? You said, I'm going to Google it, but we're going to go with potentially Pirates. We're going to find out, though. Let's see.
I hope I can actually bet on this. I didn't actually figure it out. I thought it would just be a fun game. Whatever,
Carolina
we'll figure it out. It'll just be, okay, I am going to take NC State because why the hell not? Yeah, I don't know. They're a bigger school, and you assume a bigger school probably has a bigger program than East Carolina, who did have a good basketball run a few years ago.
We've got some notable alumni, Nick. Sandra Bullock and Vince McMahon.
Nick, who you got?
Who is it again? East Carolina and
NC State, Tuesday, April 2nd.
It's PD the Pirate is their official mascot. So
I told you it was a pirate.
But yeah, but I wanted to make sure.
I'm going to go NC State.
Oh, no. Nick's picking with me. I'm screwed.
Well, who's pitching?
The Wolfpack.
Oh, me and Nick have gone together. Well, let's go to Sunday night baseball.
Sunday.
Cards against the Dodgers. Cardinals underdogs visiting La La Land at plus 136. Dodgers favored at minus 162. Show me bets. I'm taking the Dodgers. Nick, who you got? Your two favorite teams, bud.
Neither.
Gotta love Sunday night baseball. You knew this was coming. Do not.
It took the Cardinals 3 games to score a run. Who do you think I'm going to go with?
Oh, your favorite team, just like
go with the stupid Dodgers.
Stupid Dodgers.
Joe, who you got?
You know, I might as well go for a $3 to $4 million robbery and go with the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, so Joe definitely loses. Awesome. I love it when Joe does that.
I got to stick with my theme of saying the wrong team for the mascot of each game.
All right, now we go to it. The one we've all been waiting for. We have to pick one UFL game.
Sick.
The early game on Saturday, San Antonio Brahmas versus the Memphis Showboats. Nick, who you got? Brahmas or Showboats?
Brahmas.
Nick's got the Brahmas. Joe, who you got?
Oh, Wade Phillips is the coach of the Brahmas. Come on. I don't need another reason.
Well, give me.
Also, Memphis. They won today. I was watching the game.
Cool. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I did see. I did
Why is this one
part of the game yesterday? So now we have to pick our teams, though, for the UFL, guys. We got to pick our teams. That's the last thing that we're doing.
Oh, damn it.
All right. You can pull it up or not. You got the Brahmas, the Showboats, the Renegades, the Battlehawks, the Stallions, the Panthers, the Roughnecks, or the DC Defenders. Choose your squad.
Like all those team names sound cool, and then you just said Panthers. Like all of a sudden, like it's like, oh, there's another Panthers.
Choose your squad.
Choose
Go. Let them go. I'm letting you guys let them rip.
What do you mean? Oh, sorry. Then I missed the preference. I thought we were just like, I thought you were telling
choose
like the
squad.
Like
choose your squad to roll with for the season.
Oh, to root for?
Yes.
Oh, fucking San Antonio.
Okay, Joe gets the Brahmas.
Give me St. Louis.
Oh,
that's a great one. That's probably the other.
That's the other good team, I think.
The runner-up, yeah. That's the best fan base. That's the Philly fan base of the UFL.
I'm giving you all the chance by going through that. Now I get to pick the leftovers. How about I go with
DC was pretty good last year.
They were. Give me the Roughnecks, the Houston Roughnecks, though. I'm gonna take the Roughnecks as my team for the season. All right, that's who we're cheering for week in, week out. You can
that's
pick
who's playing right there on the screen. Actually, if you can't really see it, but
Yep.
They're,
So those are
losing
squads.
18-12.
I don't. What's that?
They're losing 18-12.
The
But
Roughnecks
they
are?
have one of my favorite named quarterbacks in I forget his first name, but his last name is Guarantano, I want to say. It's not quite Guantanamo, which is all you want to say, so you always say it wrong, and I appreciate it. Although Memphis has my guy Let Case Cookus, so that's a guy that I will root for, just whatever team he's on, because his name is Case Cookus. But yeah, no, Houston, good one. Fuck it, who cares? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Pick a team, let's go for it. You know?
That should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, was it last
All right,
year?
interesting way to go into the UFL this year.
year.
I'm okay with it. Are you gonna play the music, or are you gonna?
No. don't do
Yeah,
that.
the night driving was not. I wasn't.
You're not feeling that one?
So,
So
yeah,
we're gonna change it on the fly. We're gonna go to day driving.
daydreaming.
Daydreaming works. I like it. I like it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. For Colin Zanker and Joe Goodwin, I'm Nick Archuleta. This has been another wonderful, educational, and threatening episode of Undrafted Uncensored. We only like to yell at each other once in a while.
Yeah.
Thank you to Michael Spillane and everybody over at e5280sports.com for having us. Make sure to check out the website for other great podcasts as well. The famous Kim Becker is one of them. She's got her own show over there.
Yep. I was gonna say
Michael's got
actually,
his show.
that's the Wheelhouse, right? Is
No,
her
No,
show?
Wheelhouse is
Between the
Sunday
Lines.
mornings.
Yeah,
She's
that's
Between the Lines,
her
I think.
show, right?
No, Kim's Between the Lines.
It's Between
I
the
remember.
Lines. Okay. Well, whatever is hers, don't watch it. We're gonna start a feud because she works at Altitude and Colin and I work at the Fan, and
Shut up,
can't-
Joe. I'm gonna mute you.
we can't accept that.
Wrap it up, Nick. I'm gonna mute
That's the
him.
one that you shouldn't listen to. Let's create a feud.
And I'm at
fight.
Mile High
That sounds
Sports,
like
so
fun.
yeah, hell with you.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Pikes
Exactly.
Peak Sports Cards for being our sponsor as well. Until next time, I am Nick Archuleta. That's Joe Goodwin creating unnecessary wars, and Colin Zanker losing all control of both of us.
I'm gonna go onto her
Rockies
stream
can
and just
still
start
lose
commenting like our
161.
show's better.
161-1, or 1-161.
I was gonna say that sounds legendary.